Yeah,
today with
anything could
all
happen.
this cash on the line. And you were saying you're not sure what if we've said what we're doing first. Now it's on the bottom of the screen, so that's pretty clear. Big Meat
There we
Energy,
go.
Cordial Corp, a team that you touched on earlier, and we can lean into this matchup a little bit more now that we know exactly what's coming in. So
Oh
you
yeah.
did again touch on the kind of underdog potential that we have here. So if there's any players specifically on these teams that you want us to look out for in this game, then give us a heads up before we start heading in.
Yeah, right here, I'm looking at Gringo Jr. Right now, he's on the roster. He played in the last qualifier with them. If he is back, he is definitely going to be an X factor. We've seen him play
Hmm.
Vi a ton of times. We've seen him play Vi for the old STK squads that were
Okay.
so lethal, challenging for that #1 spot week after week. And now, we've seen him in the qualifier. He played a lot of Dahlia, which was very surprising, but he played it very, very well. He was extremely good, extremely sound mechanically. He's a high sense controller player, so he's able to hit those crazy flicks, things like that other players aren't able to do. Some players like myself, play on 3-4 sensitivity, things like that. So, he's on 8-9, so he's able to really whip around and go crazy, especially if he's got a Nightshade in his hands, things like that. Even
Hmm.
DMR, he is definitely an X factor when he is on the map. So I'm excited to see how Gringo is going to be playing, if he's going to be playing with Laz again, as Laz, they did team up together for this final qualifier, as they are kind of a duo. They're pretty good friends in game per se, and so they played together quite a bit. And now they get a chance to do it in a 10K. And they're also going to be with Frosty. Now, Frosty, he's been making a name for himself. He started off as a content creator for Rogue mainly. And then he said, you know what? Let me go ahead and start getting into these little community tournaments. And then he said, let me go ahead and get into the main event, the 10K. And that's how it starts for a lot of people. They play the game, then they decide to start streaming it. People will be like, hey, why aren't you entering the main events? And then they say, you're right. Why am I not doing it? It's free. You got nothing to lose. And that's what
Hmm.
I tell everybody,
And
everyone
it's
that wants to
content.
exactly, and it's always good content, especially for your stream. People love watching streams and things like that, and tournaments and all
Hmm.
that stuff. Especially for the 10K qualifiers and the 10K main event, of course. So, it's definitely awesome to see all these new players coming into competitive and challenging for this top six. As the top six is getting sweatier and sweatier every
Hmm.
single month. It's crazy. It seems now that the prize pool expanded a little bit more down, trickled a little bit further down. Paying out top 8 for qualifiers and now top 6 for the main event. I feel like there's a lot more teams that are fighting for those top 6
True.
spaces that used to feel like they weren't going to be able to, get a piece of that prize when it was only top 2 or top 3. Now it's really a war, and they're able to really show their skills and take home a piece of change. And man, this is a series layout. Whew.
Yeah, these maps. I was looking at it a little bit before it went on screen, and I had to mention it. Obviously, just let everyone know we'll be starting on lockdown demo. But you mentioned Gringo Jr.'s Vi. I saw these respawns. I'm like, okay, we're gonna see it unless it gets banned. I know we're gonna see it at least on Factory and Glacier. I think in the middle, Icarus. I mean, all that potential corner pressure, all that spam you can have to force people out of those small choke points that are kind of all over that map. Fully expect to see it, but as always in these best of fives and best of threes, we're going to be starting on Demolition Lockdown here. I feel like this is a map that people say it used to be, potentially offensive sided because you could just rush the inner sight and force them out. But we've been seeing, I think, teams realizing the power of the defensive aggression on Lockdown.
Oh yeah, teams are starting to get super aggressive. They'll sometimes pick an Anvil comp to run right up in there, make sure they cannot get flashed. They'll go Seeker, things like that, to make sure they have numbers on the inside. That way they can play off of those players and really punish people that get trapped inside on that offensive side. Even the retake can be lethal if the enemy team doesn't have a molly. And even if they do, sometimes you can just have that trophy that can eat the molly so that you don't even have to worry about that. And then if you're on the offense, you got to hope that those shredder rounds come in handy and that they come out quick, because those Anvil shields definitely are getting more and more popularized on Lockdown. We see a lot of teams on offense, they'll go ahead and ban the Anvil. But there is a couple of pretty good rogues that are on the table for the ban, so I'm going to be interested to see what these teams are going to go ahead and ban. I know that Nash, he typically does like to ban Ronin, as he typically hates playing against Ronins, as he's becoming a glitch main himself recently, and a lot of times that glitch does end up gets banned against him. So if he doesn't know where they are with glitch, he wants to know where they are with other reveals, and if that Ronin is on the map, then all those reveals will be essentially useless, because that Ronin Dahlia link is so good, because if you Dallas snap somebody, you don't know if you actually revealed the closest person to you. Essentially, you just revealed a person on the map. So it's not
Mhm.
exactly the best intel anymore. So usually we see Nash, he's typically banned the Ronin. And we'll see if there's going to be a fixer coming out on either side. It's going to be really, really cool to see who's going to be running the fixer if there is going to be one on both teams. We have seen Nash. He has preferred that Talon recently. We know Rugi can also play the Talon as well. Joker, he's known for his Kestrel. Will we see him on something else? Who knows,
Mhm.
man? Who knows? This lockdown demolition is going to be very explosive. I will say that. Along with the Icarus King of the Hill, I'm excited for that one. That is
Yeah.
going to be very spicy.
For sure. I think it always is. It's just so chaotic, especially with I think the addition of the new hill to kind of keep things a little bit spread around the map. But lockdown demo coming into this, I've noticed a lot. I feel like I've seen a lot more Ricochet knocks. For some reason, the last time I watched this map, I saw 2 Seeker bowdowns, and I'm like, all right, well, Seeker was in the game for like a full month and a half that I had been previously doing this. I literally just did not see it happen outside of rare occasions. And then people, I feel like they're just learning their lineups for that. So hope we'll get to see him on the lockdown. But you also mentioned the fixer. I think since those changes to the duration of his thermals, I feel like people are more willing to let him through. And it really comes down to a lot of experience and skill with fixers specifically to get value out of it. It's not as much of a fire and forget kind of like, all right, I'll pop my therms and no one can do anything on their team. If they wanted to take advantage of that, I'll just shut down this part of the map for quite a bit of time. Now you actually really have to know your timings, and I think that's made a big difference.
Oh yeah, that nerf to 6 seconds is big because you can only see through the smoke for 6 seconds and the smoke lasts for about 10 seconds. So,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to time it out and make sure that you're able to do it because we've seen fixers, they'll throw down their
Mm-hmm.
smoke, pop their goggles, run into the smoke, start shooting people. And then the goggles run out and then they're just in a smoke and they can't see
Yep.
anything. And they're like, oh, I'm not used to this. Usually I'm able to leave as well. And so, it's going to be really cool to see how
For
Fixer's
sure.
going to be played on this map if he is played and not banned.
Well, only one way to find out, and that's to head right into game. It's game number 1 between these teams, Cordial Corp versus Big Meat Energy, here in the first game of the CMG 10K main event showdown in August. Lockdown, once again, will be the arena for this first matchup between these two teams. And I love watching this map. I'm definitely excited to see it. The teams have been bringing out such unique strategies, whether it's that inner rush, whether it's been really patient play on the outside, whether it's just been abandoning the middle of the map. There's a lot of options here in game number 1.
Oh yeah, bunch on the board, and it looks like it was not banned. Wow, so they did not
Okay.
ban his glitch. So Nash is going to be auto locking in that glitch. They're going to be putting Rugi on the Dahlia. Zorism is going to be on the Talon as well for double intel. So we got double intel on both sides, but the fixer did come through out of the ban, so he is going to be on the field. I believe that is for the defensive side. So it's going to be a Dallas Talon.
Mhm.
Very, very interesting comp coming out of both sides right here, as there is no Anvils. He was banned out along with the Ronin. Now, we've seen Ronin be banned out many times. Anvil, I kind of called the bans right here. They're two
Mhm.
popular bans, Ronin and Anvil, so I'm not really surprised to see them. So the Fixer is going to be on the defensive side. Now, this is going to be very, very good for the defense because they are going to be able to bully that mid door essentially whenever they want. If they know that all 4 players are going to be inside of that B site, all
Mhm.
this defensive fixer is going to need to do is go to that middle door, throw that smoke at the ground, pop his goggles while they're moving toward that B site, and he should be able to get some pretty free shots on this team. So I'm excited to see how the fixer is going to be playing this. If he's going to be going inside and just saying, you know what, we're going to meet you head on. And it looks like that is what's going to happen. The Talon Dart is coming out from both teams now, just getting more intel, making sure nobody is here, and a little bit of a stalemate coming out of round 1.
I think it makes sense to throw him inside, just considering his pistol, right? Don't put him outside to do the long range spam. That's going to be what your Dallas does, as we see Laz lining himself up to do now. It's a decent split here, but an early down, the Kestrel Cordial knocks down Sif, and that might open the door for them to walk inside. That's the fixer gone, so no therms to slow them down. Walk all the way in, get that bomb planted, as we still are watching this duel here on the outside. It's about how the defensive team will shift back in to take this. Can't really walk to do that garage door in mid because you have the Talon there watching it in Zorism. But it looks like that's going to have to be the way that they want to go. They're slowly pushing with the dart just to clear a little bit of space. Laz is taking it, but he's getting shot at. Will barely escape with his life for the moment. But there's just a great post-plant setup on the inside right now from BME. I think that might be Cordial. Flipped names here, but you can see them all outside having to go through those doors, but just can't because of this perfect positioning.
Yeah, and right now it's great positioning from this squad. They're not letting anything happen, and they're just going to be playing for money right now as they're just trying to not give up their lives at this point, making sure that the other team does not get weapons if at all possible. I believe only one person is going to actually have a weapon, and that might be very smart of the defense right here to have played their lives because, yes, Dahlia currently does not have a weapon. If we keep scrolling through these players, I don't believe that any of them except for King Cordial are going to have a weapon on this offensive side. And yeah, it looks like it is going to be a pistol for Glitch as well. I believe Talon had a pistol.
I saw one DMR there in the mix, so
okay, so maybe one.
Someone
there
on
we go,
the Talon. Zerism. Yeah, Zerism
Okay.
able to pick that up. So slightly bigger advantage, but I think you were right in calling out them specifically holding out and playing for money. When you're playing for real money, you got to be willing to make those patient plays, right? To play it a little bit slower, potentially here. So they go to take the inside. No forward hold at all, but I guess they just don't think they can really get away with it because they have complete control of the inside with this bomb down on B. The outside, once again, is going to be important. Zerism's not quite as close. He's way back here by the door. They're kind of turtling up here on the end and letting them start to make their way in as they give up the space in red. Try to smoke it off, but they're smoking off a Fixer, and I don't know how well this will work for them, especially if he waits for his timing here. Here, utility going out. I believe I heard Halo drones. I don't think those found anything, and Nash just turns on Sif. That's the Fixer gone. That was on the flank. No red control. Really mattering here is they all hold on to their lives, even with 6 HP left on Nash. It's only the Talon tries to walk in. Obviously, won't get much out of it. And this time, they didn't want to play patient, and they paid for it with quite a bit of cash.
Oh, yeah. That was not a pretty round on this defensive side, but a beautiful round if you are the offense. You know, Joker, King Cordial, he was able to pick up 2 more kills on that Kestrel, which means he is just going to be sitting pretty. 22,000. He's got twice as much as Siphon Laz right now. And yeah, this is interesting. So Gringo Jr. actually is not playing today if you look at this. So it is going to be Galaxy, Cell, Frosty, and Laz. So that's an interesting change. Not sure if they decided to go with somebody else or if, you know, if they had their original team and Gringo was just filling for them. But either way, that is definitely a big shock to me. So Cell back in the lineup. Now, Cell has been a very consistent player, but we have not seen him recently in the last few weeks. So it's going to be cool to see how he's going to play just hopping into a 10K qualifier with this squad.
We'll have plenty of time to find out throughout these games, but Galaxy, I believe the name was. Roco Company players change their names on me so much that I just go by what I see at this point. So Galaxy is the fix. That's good to know here, but he's going to be the first down. Will get picked up as Nash gets traded back by a frag grenade. No chance. Pick him up thanks to well-timed aggression from Frosty. And this is the best post-plant spot that BME has been in as they now go to flank them through red. Cell getting it down there onto Cordial as they try to push and surround them. It looks like Frosty will start to isolate Cordial. Cordial cannot take 2 players down at once, and it's only Zerism trying to come in here. Great aim there on it, but just, again, cannot take a 2 versus 1 with the timing they have. The defuse will go through, and BME will get their first round on the board.
Yeah, that right there was a beautiful retake. The Talon went absolutely massive. I just said, let's see how Cell does, and he's able to respond amazingly right there. A great Talon dart placement to get those couple of assists as well. Never got shot, so they were able to retake, know exactly where 2 of those players were, collapse onto that platform, win out your trades, defuse the bomb, make them overextend, get a free kill. That was just beautiful stuff coming out of the defense. Just an amazing retake.
Yeah, well played by them. Also, getting the pickup on that initial Halo drone down helped significantly, I would say, just having their chance to take a fair fight for once, because they've really been kind of unable to do that with the picks that they've gotten otherwise. And now they're looking like they're going to play that inside aggressive style here, but Cordial denies it right away. Cell will be downed. I don't believe he'll be able to get picked up. Does narrowly make it out, but now the Halo drones, not only does it finish off Cell, it does get Galaxy as well. Nash runs in to clean up on the pressure that he's done, and it's just Laz on the outside. The potential attempted forward play just not paying off for them, and now a 1 versus 4. This Dallas is caught in running away. The AR, the rip side, but won't be able to do much more. Completely swarmed, completely surrounded, and I appreciate them trying to mix it up, but they just got red immediately.
Yeah, right there, Cell just got caught. He tried to move up to the pillar, but he ended up getting team shotted, and one person was able to hit a nice headshot on him with that Deadeye, and another player was able to cross shoot him from the side of red. And once you're able to down one player, they had to hand res it, and if they know that they have to hand res it, all you got to do is send that Kestrel right to that corner, and that's exactly what Joker did. Just an amazing Kestrel player, and he's just doing exactly what Kestrel should do. If there's a player down, you know they're hand resing, put that Kestrel right on him. You'll finish off one, down the other, and that's exactly what we saw right there.
Yeah, 100%. They synced up on it well, pushed the advantages that they knew they had, and now you can see a mix-up here, not playing as forward inside. Do not want to get punished in the same way, but that will just give them effectively a free plant. They really can't contest it. And the second that they do, Frosty immediately falls. Galaxy won't be long for this world. And Nash will possibly get picked up here. Cell's close by, but I think Joker knows better than to actually challenge that immediately. We'll use the bounce nade lineup to get a free pick, effectively. One player down, but they don't really have to be concerned about him. They have the bomb down and a massive number advantage. And once again, this Dallas on the outside is stuck in a very rough way. Joker doesn't even need his team. He'll just take that 1v1, shut them down, and push it to a 4-1 lead.
Oh, yeah. Looking very offensive-sided right now. You know, this is a very good stuff. Yeah, we talked about it. It's looking more defensive-sided. But right now, it is not looking too pretty for this defense. As usually we're able to see them at least get 3 rounds, most likely 2, but right now with this momentum that they've had right now, if they keep making this B push work, this might end up being a 6-1. They might get these next 2 rounds as they're ahead in cash. I'm pretty sure by now Nash does have either tracker rounds or headstrong, which is going to make his glitch that much better. Pre-flashes are coming out on both sides, and it looks like they're going to be giving it up, playing with this Dallas outside, and you see the Talon Zorzim, he is going to be going the long way to A. Not sure what exactly he's going to be doing over here on the flank, but right now his team is in dire straits as Laz takes out Cordial on the inside, and they're going to need to revive that immediately. That's a nice 3-tap coming out of X, and that's what he's known for, man. He is able to hit those shots, known for his DMR play. Right now, Laz is able to take him out, though. Oh.
Yeah. Tough gets rotated on and traded out. I was going to say, I mean, like, they've kind of slowed and denied the Dallas every time. The one time they don't, he manages to walk in and get it down. They still manage to pressure them out and get this bomb planted, but now they're operating on a disadvantage, and they have not won a round starting on a number disadvantage, I believe, since the start of this map. So, tough flip, potentially.
Yeah, and really right here, they really just needed to play their life. If you're going to be the solo flanker, you have to play your life, especially if you don't have the bomb, simply because your team is going to get that bomb down. And if you're not able to hit a nice, timely flank, then something like this is going to happen where they're just going to be able to play numbers. And now it's a 3v2 retake, but they got to make it happen quick. They are able to get one more. That means it is only the Dahlia that is up. No Dahlia res going to be coming out. Cell was wide swinging it. Rugi's 1 HP, but they're able to defuse it anyway. A nice retake coming out of there. And right there, that was just the numbers game coming out for this squad in Big Meat Energy. They were able to capitalize on the fact that they were able to pick Zorzim outside the solo flanker. And this time, this time they were able to make the most of it, using those smokes, getting back in there, playing for that retake, using their Talon Dart to make sure that they are good to go. Even though I'm pretty sure the Talon Dart did get destroyed by Nash that round, they're still able to get that initial intel on how many players are coming inside, just tossing that thing on the platform over there.
Yeah, playing off the intel you have at the start, obviously, the best way to handle it. I'm surprised Zorzim changed his game plan so sharply. I felt like the way that he was playing the outside was working perfectly. It felt like the garage door was literally never even a factor. But they change one thing, try to think one step ahead. It just ends up being a step behind near the end of it. But this time, nothing will happen really dangerous on either side of the map. They walk in once again without issue. Get the plant down. There are 2 players on the out now. It's Cell and Laz, both looking to play by that door. Over there, you can see a pre-lineup from Joker. They all 4 of them inside once again, and this will deny them the chance to play the numbers game, but numbers game a little bit skewed. The balance has shifted. 2 downs from Ruki with a frag. They're going to walk and clean these up. And Cell rotating over might end up... Now he can't really trade for his teammate. They might have had to both kind of swing in on the same side, but now they don't have that luxury, and now he's completely alone.
Yeah, X was watching the flank right there. He was able to take that player out, and there is the melee coming out that he picked up. He is feeling himself right now. King Cordial, aka Joker, 10 downs right now on this Kestrel, 5-2 halftime. They are feeling very, very good right now.
Yeah, for sure. And they'll repick, and things are going to seem fairly similar, and I think for good reason, especially if they stick with that Kestrel. I mean, this composition was working more than fine for them, so hold on to it. I think it will function perfectly on either side. Do you expect to see maybe some of that aggression we saw from them on the offense be mirrored here on this side? Are they going to try to pull off that forward hold, or do you think that Anvil ban kind of just completely wrenched that plan away?
I think that that's exactly what they're going to do. If you look at their comp right now, they have the Chalk and the
Mm-hmm.
Seeker, and that is a plan for destruction. You can go inside or outside with this comp. Either way, it's going
Yep.
to be good. But right now, it's looking like this is going to be an inside comp. They're going to be going inside to B, throwing those pre-flashes, Seeker bowing it out, getting red control, getting that bomb down with smoke, smoking out mid-door with your Dahlia. That's exactly what we should see out of this team on this pistol round. Now they might switch it up because that is pretty predictable with their comp. So if they switch it up, it might be a big brain play out of them if they decide to curve to A. But it looks like they are going to go ahead and go with this typical B push for this comp. Bo is going to be coming out. They're getting that intel. They know that Nash did go. Double flashes coming out on both sides, and everyone's going to be holding their ground, and they're going to be rotating out immediately, not wasting any time. And now they're going to need to cover that middle door, as there's already a player there that opened it up. Now two players, Rugi and Zorzum, are going to be going to the back. Not sure if Syph was able to see Joker coming to that middle area, and they are going to be able to get the bomb down, and they got it down further spawn, but Nash is in the back of their spawn right now. Nash is currently in their spawn, in their tower, flanking. He's already secured up top control. Now they know that all four of them are trapped in that area. This is going to be a massive hold if they're able to pull this off.
For sure, it's going to just come down to the gunfights at this point because there's no hidden information now. As the Seeker Bow kind of trades some of that info back, they know where they're going to be getting pushed from. As the smoke comes down, you can see three players kind of swinging out, managing to just avoid some of the utility. It's a huge stack on the back, and the time is running out just about 3/4 of the way through, and it looks like Cordial really can't find a way in, but now a trade back in. Frosty downs two. It's 2 versus 3 with Frosty kind of on the backside. It does end up evening out. Cordial with 1 HP gets the next down. Can they start this diffuse potentially? Where is this last player? He's watching it. It's Frosty right on the bomb, and he'll guarantee that one goes off. They get their first offensive round off of a great pivot in their plan.
Yeah, Frosty went absolutely massive right there. He was able to get 2 downs on those players, holding down that barricade at the backside. You're getting pressured by 3 people, and you're just a Dahlia with a Deagle behind the wall. Some people would be scared, but Frosty took the challenge. He said, you know what? I'm going to land these headshots, and that's exactly what he was able to do. He wide swung both of those players while they were trying to run away for their lives. He ended up taking out both of them, then was able to just hide long enough to come and kill the player that was watching over the final player that was defusing the bomb. And able to get a nice 4K right there out of the Dahlia with just a pistol. You love to see it if you're the Dahlia player, because he's definitely got lifeline now.
Oh, for sure, and that will help them significantly if they get, just nade down, just quickly swing someone back up and make the most of having the res up, the res robes in general. You can see them already pivoting back to the outside. They're realizing that they're trying to stack inside, so if they can make this rotation fast enough, it can work. But this time, Cordial Corp are a little more privy to it. They've already shifted out and are looking to deny this potential plant. And now they're going to have to stop and slow down, and the advantage, the potential wrecking ball of speed that their comp could be, has been ground to a halt.
Oh, yeah. And right now you can see Nash. He is itching to flank. He's trying to figure out where he is. This is the patented Nash walk. That's what I like to call it. You go back, you go forth, you figure out exactly where he is. Pretty sure he's guessing that he is going to be at that close corner. Going to try and get into this tower. He loves getting that tower control because he knows if he can get that tower control, you can trap all of the players in this little area. And right now, Galaxy Asian, he's going to try to get Frosty up. This is going to be massive if he's able to. King Cordial is going to be downing Cell, though. He's not going to be getting back up. And if that Dahlia can't get revived, then this one might be chalked for the offense. But it looks like... Oh, bounce nade. And it's going to be downing Syph as well. Wow, that was a beautiful one coming out of the Kestrel. None other than King Cordial himself, Joker. That was a beautiful play.
Joker, it seems like he just does it all himself at the end there, just getting that early poke, then finishing off them when they go for the res, winning the duel on the other player that tries to rush him. I mean, just clinical play by Joker there to keep his team in the lead and deny any chance of a streak, right? Of starting to get that cash ad. And the fact that it's a Kestrel popping off, Joker with 14 downs, it's a little bit extra money in the pocket. Not as much as it used to be, but plenty, as their lowest earner with Nash is higher than the highest earner on the side of BME. BME are going to need to just be a step ahead of Cordial Corp, because they make one plan twice and then it's caught out. They have to be ready for the adaptation.
Yeah, and sometimes, the scoreboard doesn't always tell the story, but, in this case, I think we can pull up the scoreboard and say that I see the problem, because right now there is a fixer on the board that is 9 rounds in and has not had a down to his name, and that is just unacceptable. If you are a fixer, you got to be able to pull off these plays with that Deadeye in your hand. Haven't really seen any real good smoke plays coming out of the fixer, but Nash is going to be able to get a down with the Simtex, finishing that player off as well, and that's going to be a chalk. Now, full killing a chalk, 170 HP off the map. Scythe going to be dropping as well to Exorism, and right now Nash and Joker just going to be holding down this middle door area.
And they pop with a flash to get out, get to the top of this tower, but not knowing the angles that they're watching from, Frosty has Nash locked down, but he gets away with 24 health and a little bit too eager to chase that kill. Zerism will get the down in return. Player on the backside, and the smoke is here. They're gonna pop the therms for it. Maybe this could be the first a solid defensive smoke play, but it's not that long anymore. They'll just back off and wait it out, and you can see Galaxy just trying to duel into them on this low ground and completely swarmed and surrounded with the rest of his team just watching like he's a gladiator battling in a coliseum. 2 players down for them with only 2 rounds they have left to give. They're gonna need a miracle here, I think, if they want to flip it with them watching both bomb sites.
Yeah, and that is the thing about Fixer. If you're going to pick him, like you said, he hasn't been banned as much and he hasn't been picked as much. This is one of those reasons. If you know for a 100% flank, or 100% fact, that the Fixer is going to be popping his smoke. He pops those goggles. You just run away. It's only 6 seconds now. Running away for 12 seconds, that sometimes feels a little bit ridiculous, but running away for 6 seconds is very manageable. You can run away, reposition, hide behind a wall for 4 seconds, something like that. Just burn that time and then immediately re-challenge while that smoke is still up, and that's what they were able to do right there. And that's why that Fixer play was just absolutely not able to do anything. And right now, Scythe, I see the problem, man. He's got to be stepping it up right now. 0 downs, only 2 eliminations to his name, and that's just not going to cut it.
Really tough game for him. Really tough game. I mean, you have them sometimes, but they've flipped sides. They've been able to play with whatever they personally think the advantage side would be on this map and just have not been able to get much done with it. I almost feel like they're just not playing to set him up. And you have to do that these days after the change.
Here we go.
He's not a fire and forget rogue anymore, but he's trying to walk in and make room, but he's trying to duel an SMG at medium range, and there he goes. Nash wins that one, the Fixer. Gives it up there, and now his team's suddenly playing with a massive disadvantage, and an even bigger one now, with the Chalk forced to pop the Rage just to get himself back up, with the rest of them kind of losing fights everywhere on the map. Nash in a perfect position behind them, just trying to do a little pixel peek on him with the pistol. It's only Frosty left to keep their hopes on lockdown alive.
Yeah, and those hopes are diminished extremely fast. Right there, that play defined this entire Fixer's game, honestly. He threw his smoke on the left, didn't pop his goggles before getting hacked, and then challenged the right to a guy on a head glitch when he's in the wide open, not inside of his smoke. So I'm just not sure if the Fixer had a Fixer mindset when he locked in Fixer. Didn't exactly play it pretty much like a Fixer. Not sure exactly what was going on there with Galaxy Haitian. We've seen him perform well on Fixer before in the past, but this one just wasn't it.
Tough, I think, for maybe how they wanted to play it with the rush that they did. Their comp, it seemed almost like a little bit of a mismatch. We can look back, though, and see if that is what the replays tell us in the way that they wanted to time it and run in. But do you think that rings true, Rome? Do you think that maybe it was just not a fit for the comp and they're trying to put a Fixer a place where it shouldn't have been?
Yeah, sometimes people try to squeeze Fixers into comps where they really don't need them, or that there could be a more useful rogue, and I think this was exactly that situation. As you can see from these highlights, man, King Cordial was going crazy on the Kestrel, and that Kestrel is an X factor. that the other team just never pulled out. They never had that Kestrel on their side, never had that kind of firepower, things like that. And they made sure they had it on both sides as he was able to land a bunch of awesome bounce nades, get a bunch of awesome Kestrel ults, and honestly carry his team to victory right here. Joker, he was doing it all for his squad. Nash was able to give him great intel with those hacks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great stuff coming out of this squad. That they're looking extremely solid on this first map of the 10K main event.
Oh, for sure. And we'll see if they can kind of carry it forward as we go from demo to a respawn. But I mean, if we're looking at more like aggressive, crazy, chaotic gun skill sort of maps where, it's about knowing where they're spawning and flipping in respects to that, the way they were looking on that, some of those duels, I mean, Frosty had some big moments, but they weren't really, when it came down to like a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-2, it seemed like it was slipping from them. Do you think they're maybe psyching themselves out like we talked about before, or do you think that map was just a wake-up call and we could see a different BME coming in here on Icarus?
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure, but I know for one thing we're going to need to see a different BME. So hopefully,
That's definitely true.
Hopefully, if they pick their comp right, it is going to be on Icarus King of the Hill. It's going to be extremely explosive. It's almost impossible to not get it down in Icarus King of the Hill. So we'll see if they will be a little bit more blessed this time going out on this Icarus King of the Hill. See if they're going to be able to win more gunfights, win more engagements, pick a better overall comp for themselves on the map, as they are now in a hole. And now they got to go 3 respawns back to back against an extremely good respawn team and an extremely good respawn player, specifically in Rugi. Rugi, he doesn't always top frag, but he's positionally extremely amazing at King of the Hill. That's where he puts his hat down. He says, Demolition, y'all can have that. That ain't even what I'm mad at. I'm going to be all about the King of the Hills. I'm going to be all about the strikeouts, and that's where he's trying to make a name for himself right now. So it's going to be cool to see how this squad is going to be going into this King of the Hill that is on Icarus. Extremely explosive. Man, no Gringo Jr. to pull out that vibe for this squad, so I'm not sure who is going to be, if it's going to go through. Not sure who's going to be pulling it out. It's going to be very, very cool to see how these squads are going to be shaping up for this next one, because that was not a pretty lockdown for the side of Big Meat Energy.
Yeah, it wasn't, but at least they have a potential change of pace going to respawn, right? They have the respawn straight. We said it could be tough for them, but maybe, again, it's a wake-up call, and we'll see on Icarus with that coming up next. And then our first strikeout in a few weeks on Factory, that's guaranteed to happen. If BME can kind of get their feet under them, then we can move on to Koth on Glacier. Hollows potentially ending things, and I like watching Hollows, so hopefully this is a 5-game banger. We'll see once we get there, but for now, got to look at the Icarus, got to look at this very condensed map, very chaotic map. I think we see a lot of Lancer on here just for her dual potential. You see a lot of any rogue with explosives to hit people around corners. One of the few places we've seen Dima on the regular. On the regular. One of the few places we've seen Dima ever. Maybe that'll happen again, hopefully for Blue's sake. That is something we can see happen, but I fully expect to see these aggressive rogues, whether it's a Chalk, whether it's a Lance, or even a Scorch, potentially. If they don't have a Vi player, maybe they'll just go for the Scorch to pressure with that overheat and to have the incense around the corner.
Oh, yeah, Scorch has been an extremely solid pick in Icarus King of the Hill. Scorch along with Vi. Even the Dallas now has been picked. We've seen teams go triple Molly compositions to just let their Scorch go crazy. They throw a bunch of fire on the hill and say, Scorch, have at them, and the Scorch will just go crazy. And if there's no Scorch on the other team, what can you really do against it? You got a Scorch in fire with her ult popped. It's going to be very hard to win that gunfight, especially if she's able to get headstrong, things like that. Scorch is just an extremely good rogue, especially since she has Replenish as well, just able to keep on farming those downs if she can chain them together. Scorch has been a very good pick. Anvil has been a solid pick, but usually Anvil only comes out if things like the Vi and the Scorch are banned, simply because that Molly can be used extremely well against the shield. And typically Anvil players feel like they essentially, all they're good for is walking up to site, putting a shield down, and hoping that they don't get mollied. So right now, Anvil has been a little bit more out of the meta for Icarus King of the Hill, but we'll see if it starts to come back right here.
Yeah, I mean, MLX not bad for dueling people that run in, obviously. We'll see once they start figuring out what they want to do there. Before we completely potentially abandon the map number 1 mindset, I want to mention, because I had this told to me by Blue, and you did too, is in one of our little messages there. Vibes Game 1, Hard Rock and Vibes, happening on the same side of the bracket. They are game number 1. Vibes had a 7-2 lead against Hard Rook at the very beginning of that map. had
sounds rough.
and
How had
lost.
sounds yeah.
Had and lost. They flipped it near the end. You're saying you had a 7-0 to show match. We're already seeing big comebacks happening here. I think that bodes well for the
Yeah.
rest of this bracket, and maybe even bodes well for the game we have coming up. We saw it seem kind of get figured out on that lockdown. If other teams can come back, why can't they on Icarus?
Oh yeah, you gotta start the comeback now though. You got to do it right now. You can't
Yes.
let it go
Yes.
to a 2-0 hole, because then you're looking at
Mhm.
must-win situations for every round. It's gonna feel like, so
Yes.
you really just want to give yourself that comfortability of tying this thing back up 1-1, saying, okay, we're resetting it. We're going into a best of 3 strikeout King of the Hill demo. We could take a little bit of a breather now, but right now it's going to be all about winning this King of the Hill right here on Icarus. And Icarus is one where you can't lose your gunfights. If you're coming into this and you're not warmed up, if you're not ready to play, if you're going to be dropping 0 downs in the 12 round, what was it, 11 rounds, if you're going to be doing that, you might not be ready. You might be time to call up Gringo, say, look, man, I got sick real quick. Something came up, man. I don't know.
Listen,
but
Bro, maybe Kruger's playing on one of the other teams. We got a full bracket to look at here. We got a full bracket going on today. Maybe he's playing on another team. Do any of the names that can come up on the bracket maybe ring a bell for you and where he could be playing? We have the whole bracket here. Figured we might as well bring it up, considering we got the Hard Rook vibes thing going on, and some teams already moving forward. I'm going to assume those are from disqualifications or just defaults, but Dream Team already in the quarters. Justice, Roco, I think surprising nobody, also in the quarters with them. But that top round in the right side bracket, there was already a big comeback there, and we are watching the bottom right side of this bracket. Are there any other games you think people could maybe keep an eye on to see who comes out on top?
Oh yeah, a couple ones that I'm watching for. Hefty Fox and Stitch Gaming, that's one that I'm looking at. Hefty Fox, they should come out on top in that one, but there's always room for an upset. Takers and STNELGIB, not sure what that means or what it stands for, but I believe that Takers should be coming out victorious in that one. But this squad in STN, they are very consistent, and they have definitely a lot of upset potential. So that bottom left quadrant is very iffy as a whole as to who is going to be coming out of it. In the top right, I would expect for Hard Rook to be coming out of the quarterfinals matchup against the Dream Team, but the Dream Team has definitely been making names for themselves, but sadly, French, they were not able to show up today, and Dream Team did get a bye. Now, there is some good things and bad things with the bye. The good thing, you're guaranteed at least top 8, I believe, already. So you're already guaranteed at least top 8. So you're feeling good. You're feeling very good. But sadly, with these teams, the Dream Team is going to be going up against mainly Hard Rook, and the Dream Team right now. Okay, sounds good. The Dream Team right now is going to be needing to make a lot of noise and needing to make a big upset, because this squad in the Dream, they've been in the chats, they've been saying, what do you guys think about the Dream Team? We're going to be making noise. We're not playing around, and already securing top 8. That's a good thing. But the bad thing that I was saying is you're not warmed up at all. You're going to be sitting there in the shooting range. You're going to be sitting there watching your teammates, things like that, or watching your enemies that you're about to play, sweating it out. They just had a crazy 7-7 sweat matchup, and they're going to be playing one of those teams next. So, they're going to be coming into this thing pretty cold, going up against a team that is pretty hot. So it's got some negatives and some positives if you are going to be getting that bye simply due to no-show. So Justice Roco as well is going to be moving on because of a no-show. So that means that if Forcible Cobra is able to win over Lagger, then they will be going up against Just Us in round 2 in the quarterfinals, ladies and gentlemen.
Which is wild.
That means, that is absolutely wild. Usually we're used to seeing these teams meet in winners finals, or even at worst in the semifinal matchup. But right now they're about to meet in the quarterfinals, and that might not bode well for one of these teams, simply because they're going to need to go down there and play for top 6. They're going to need to fight in that losers bracket against a bunch of extremely hungry teams. So I cannot wait to see how this is going to play out with these squads right here.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like Justice in the quarters, you mentioned them coming in cold, but the only thing that might give them an edge there is the amount of time that they've had to wait in a grand finals for a losers finals to finish, right? I feel like they've been in that position where they're in winners bracket, just sitting, kicking back, maybe just shooting some bots in a shooting range, just waiting for other games to finish. They might be right in their comfort zone. They might have that winners mentality already coming in. It's like, oh yeah, we're waiting for everyone else, all the plebeian players to get through their matches to finally come and face us. But Forcible Cobra and Lager, that could be a decent one depending on how Lager are looking today. So could potentially be coming in hot enough to really pressure them there. But still heading back in. Hopefully we'll be starting to get into the match up soon. I will have another update really quick here. Blue also messages me, Hefty Fox, 3-0 Stush Gaming. So a game you mentioned to specifically watch out for. Seems like Stush was not ready for whatever Hefty Fox had up for them today on all the maps, including Icarus, one that we are hopefully about to get started in. But again, we talked about some of the potentials that we'd expect to see there. Lancer, Scorch, Vi, all that corner pressure, all that. But we will be waiting no longer. The game should hopefully be ready for us here as we head into map number 2. Cordial Corp has a 1-0 lead here as we are moving right into Icarus. No more questions between these teams. Can BME find their feet under them? Can they strike back after what was a very rough lockdown?
Oh yeah, there's no more time for games, no more time for warming up. This is it right here. If you're not ready for Icarus King of the Hill, and looks like Vi is going to be banned, so maybe we are going to be seeing a Scorch, maybe an Anvil coming out. Vi typically, when she's banned, we typically see those players used a lot more. Not sure if there is an Anvil on this squad. I'm not sure if there is an Anvil on Cordial Corp right here that does play Respawn, but you never know. We might see some new things coming out, as we will not be seeing that Fixer, but we might still see the Talon, with that Deadeye in the hands of either Rugi, Nash, or even Zorism. As Zorism, he was able to use it in the Demolition extremely well. So there's a lot of Talon players on this squad, a lot of rogues that are still open. So we'll see if that Deadeye is going to be going into the hands of anyone specifically. And right now, I'm excited to see this because most likely King Cordial, he's going to be on that Kestrel that he is so comfortable on. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of X factors on the other team. Right here, this squad is pretty straightforward. They're going to be playing a lot of the power pick rogues. I don't think that we're going to see a lot of variation. But, the side of Big Meat Energy, we might actually see a lot of variation coming out of this squad. They have a lot of X factors that can play a whole lot of different rogues. So yeah, and there is a little bit of something that the players do gotta keep in mind. The game modes do switch up. So accidentally, they did start it up on the wrong mode, so they're just gonna reset the lobby real quick. It definitely happens. It's happened to the best of us. 3 different modes that we are playing. Sometimes you're gonna make a mistake. It's kind of sad when all 8 players in the lobby don't look up in the top left corner and say, "Ooh, hey, wrong mode. Let's switch this real quick." But sometimes it does happen.
They're lasered in, Rome. They're just so focused on what's coming next. You gotta look only dead center in the screen.
Oh yeah, exactly. We can take it as a positive for sure. Definitely say they were just focused, 100% ready. These players are locked and loaded. So let's go ahead and get right into it, man. It's gonna be a lit one.
Yeah, well, we'll slide right back in and see what they do pick here on Icarus map number 2. I want to ask as we hopefully head into the game though, that Fixer ban, is that just so they don't play it? Is that one of those? It's like, all right, we're so worried about playing against it, we feel like we have to mirror it. Are we just keeping it from ourselves?
Well, the thing is that since Cordial Corp is a team that banned the Vi, my guess is that they're looking at the Fixer as something that they can play. Big Meat Energy, it looks like they were the ones that banned the Fixer. So they're looking at the Fixer saying, we don't want you guys to play the Fixer. If you guys are going to have a Deadeye, we don't want it to be Fixer. I don't believe they're going to pull out the Fixer on their team, especially after their last Fixer performance on the last map. So right now we're going to be seeing... Yeah, we're going to be seeing Lancers coming out. We are going to be seeing an Anvil from Frosty. So like I said, I didn't see an Anvil on the side of Cordial Corp, but this side does have a lot of X factors, and it looks like Frosty will be pulling out that Anvil, and the Scorch is going to be coming out for Rugi. So we are going to have Zorism going to be on that Lancer. He has played Lancer a lot. He's even pulled out the shotgun, might be seeing a shotgun Lancer. And I can say as a Lancer that loves the 24S, there is nothing more frustrating than turning a corner, seeing another Lancer, saying, yeah, I got this gunfight. Start crouch spamming, hip firing, whatever. And then 2 bullets, you're out. And because you didn't realize that they chose to have the shotgun instead of the 24S. And then you feel like you got to switch, because then if you get in a close range fight, you're almost going to lose that shotgun every single time unless you have extremely good precision with that 24S. So looks like 24S is going to be in the hands of Zorism this time. Not going to be rolling with that shotgun. He's going to be keeping it cordial, if you will. And they're going to be flying out of this plane. And those Lancers are going to be jetting straight to that pit.
And listen, they can always change later if they feel like it. You know, you could mix it up if you get that advantage. That might be something you can play off of later. Maybe just conditioning them here with that 24S. But all the teams, all the players on the teams are going to be slamming in here. Marcel a little bit faster, misses that sticky. Great early play, downing Rugi actually, but two throw their lives away here. With Zurism having a great angle onto Galaxy and them, but they stay overcommitted on that box wide out in the open. Just giving them has to reload, but Nash still ends up winning that gunfight with them now. Able to start climbing up their tickets, finding the players pushing in, knocked so low so early.
Oh yeah, this is a nice hold coming out, and now is when you got to start realizing this is their last push on this hill. They got to make it happen and make it happen now, and they're just going to decide to not even do that. They're going to rotate over, but they got to face a Lancer that's already here. And that's the thing, when you're losing the other hill, you got to win the next one, and they got to get this Lancer out of the hill right now. Kestrel going to be coming out. They are going to be securing that. Now it's going to be all about this setup. Rudy's going to be trying to break this bad boy already, as there is still 5 seconds on the old hill. Cordial going to be downing two with the drones. Zorism, now they have complete control, and this is just absolutely tragic from Big Meat Energy, as they only had 5 points and lost the rotation to the second hill.
They just got delayed so much in trying to take down the player that was sitting there, that Lancer, that they just didn't see the Kestrel there, and now they're just walking into nades. Cordial, 2 more for him there. Zell gets 1 in trade, but that's just the Dallas that was holding close, and they just keep giving away players. They have to take a few more of these 2v1s, because these 1v1s do not seem to be going far in their direction. Joker, Galaxy, he tries to make this, but just loses it with a huge advantage. 6 health left on Ruki, but I can see why you were saying he was so proficient in the respawn when he can win gunfights like that. That one too, taking down Laz. Could even push Frosty here, doesn't have the HP for it, but the teammate, Nash, will be the one to find that for them, as their gap on this map just continues to grow. Dominant performance at the beginning here.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about with Rugi. You know, he might not top frag, but his positional awareness is absolutely incredible in these respawns. And when you combine that with having an extremely good gunny, and you're able to be an extremely good King of the Hill player all around, and that's what makes him so great. And he's on this scorch, and right now they're up 95 points, looking to make it 100, as they're looking to send them straight into the 100-point club, if you will. Not even a 100-point club, they might send them into the below 20-point club at this rate, as this C hill is finally popped, but they are going to be getting control of that yet again. Now only 40 points left until they are going to be securing themselves this first round. Man, this one is a big, big blowout.
Zurism with a laser at medium range here. They just have so many guns trained on this one choke point. It just happens to be the place where all of BME are trying to approach from. No one really looking to take another angle. They did manage to get a few out of sheer numbers, but you can't force a 1v1 here. Do finally down and take down Ruki with those halos from Galaxy. But every time they take something, they just get traded out. And they have to contest now, because this round might be over before the last hill even comes into effect. I mean, they throw the Semtex, but they're not contesting. Finally, they make it on at the end, but forced off near the end, crawling away, rolling away, and they decide to sacrifice that round and just GG go next.
Yeah, and that is heartbreaking right there. I'm not gonna lie. If you are the side of Big Meat Energy, if you lose that bad, I don't even think they got 20 points. That is just tragic all around. You're looking at this saying, what went wrong? You might look at the scoreboard and say, Frosty, what's going on? 0 downs, 3 hills. But if you're the Anvil, really your job is just to contest. But when you're going up against a Scorch, like I said, that Molly is able to counter it so many times. So the Anvil sometimes just feels like he's just useless. And right now, Frosty might be feeling like he's in that situation right now where he just can't do anything going up against this Scorch. The double EMPs, you know, if you're going up against that many EMPs, they do so much damage to that shield. And right now, Zorism going to be locking it down with this Lancer right now on this initial hill. They're trying to win this gunfight, and he's already got Life Drain. And when you already got Life Drain, that means you can go crazy. You hear it proccing already, and yeah, they might even start heading over to that B hill already, and that's what they're going to go ahead and do, man. So they're going to chalk this one up, go down 45-0, and set up on this B hill. What is your thoughts on that?
I mean, what else can I think about it? Zurism just walking off that hill behind them now with the flank, as they're going to clean them off of the next hill, I think, while still managing to hold on. I mean, there is just a mental game that is not being won when you take and lose fights that should be so far in your advantage. Zerism knocked so low early. Obviously, Life Drain playing a big part in turning it around, but it cannot feel good to be losing these fights as drastically as they were. They're not even going to push a flash player.
He's out of bullets.
Push a flash player. He's completely out of ammo. You're right. He's just killing so many of them that he's just running out of resources that don't normally run out.
Yeah, and when you have your first death halfway into the B hill as a Lancer, you know that you are fragging and doing your job, and he's doing it amazingly. Right now is Zorism. They're currently up 40 points. Now, they did lose control of this B hill. Still 50 seconds left. My goodness. Those beams are coming out. He is 10K ready. Those are the $10,000 shots that you love to see. He's just holding the angle, making sure that he's waiting, giving his team time to pressure it. Simtek's going to be coming out, getting Laz weak, and they're able to down 2 off of that and break this hill yet again as he's going to be coming behind, downing that Lancer, and they just retook that amazingly yet again. We might finally see the D hill. You know, we didn't get to see the D hill in the first round, sadly, but we might get to see it in this one, as this one is a little bit closer of a round. But moving on to this C hill, setting up for it already are these teams fighting for this middle area control, which is so pivotal to hold down this final C hill, if you will, because they're currently down 40 right now. It's not looking too pretty for them.
Still looking a lot better than the last round, Rome. It's definitely an upgrade over what was happening before. But I feel like every time I watch BME's POV, they're just focusing too much on one area. They're letting themselves get surrounded and pincered. I'm constantly seeing players get shot in the back, and I get that this map is chaotic, but you have to have your head on a swivel in these sorts of situations when you only see like 2 people in front of you. Obviously, the other 2 are somewhere. They didn't just disappear. Object permanence. It's something to consider, because it doesn't seem to be there in some of these fights, as Cordial Corp continue to hold on to this, pushing into the spawn, maybe not knowing that they're there. Frosty does lock down Rugi to help them push them off. They're not even going to get these points to set up for their post-push fight here, as the Kestrel is getting forced away. Nash kind of baited, rolling into the point alone, will not survive against the onslaught of the 3 of them, as they'll hold on for now. BME now starting to take up these points, but Rugi swings back in and downs 2. 3?
Yeah, right now, Zorism, he's getting ready for this 4th hill right now. He's already controlling the 4th hill area. And this 4th hill can be tricky. We've seen in 8s and scrimmages and things like that, this 4th hill has an edge to it, where if you can, it's very easy to step off a hill, if you will. So we'll see how this is going to go, if it's going to go to a sudden death, if it comes down to that. Not looking like it currently, as they're currently only 35 points away from securing the win heading into this 4th hill. But you never know. It's never over until it's over, so I'll never say that it's over.
Well, right now it's over for Cell in that 1v1. No one really willing to swing around the corner to help him. I think they're just getting locked out now. This D-Hill firmly in possession of Cordial Corp, as they have Rugi in a really aggressive position. 2 downs for them. Runs into a 1v3, and the rest of his team cleans up everybody else, swinging in immediately after. It's all on this Chalk, I think, to contest. I don't know if anyone else can really touch, but Zerism seems confident that no one will make it, at least in a time that's going to matter. There's the Semtex on them to split them 100 damage between 2 different players. Only 3 more ticks remaining for them, and no one really able to even cross that gap. That is going to be a very strong respawn performance there by Cordial Corp, which bodes well for them heading into the strikeout up next.
Oh, yeah, they were looking extremely good, and that is a confidence booster, like you said, because if you're going into a strikeout, it's not too different. You know, obviously, they are different modes, but it's not exactly too different. Still respawn. You got to fight for your lives. And you got to win those gunfights. And right now, it's looking like they're just winning way more of them, as we're probably going to see in these wonderful replays that we got right here, man.
Yeah, we'll look at it. And again, we'll see, I think, quite a few players getting either shot in the back or ambushed when going around corners, because that just seemed to be a fairly consistent issue they were having. They would clear out one angle, the player would just reset it immediately after. Just not as many ways to completely dislodge someone, nor were they really watching their own corners. You could see here Joker holding close, burning them on the way in with those halos, just stalling them out, forcing them to take another way in, and we barely got to see anything that round because it was over so fast. This was that hold by Zerism that I knew it was, at least the mental game, they had a strong advantage in, and we're going to need to see a iron mind, basically, from Big Meat Energy if they want to come back for this strikeout, unless they're just very confident on the maps that we have up ahead. If they're just maybe a Glacier team and a Hollows team, then maybe, but it is a rough place to be after how good in the duels and in the positioning Cordial Corp have been looking.
Yeah, they looked absolutely incredible right here. And it's going to be so hard for them to come back and bounce back if you're the side of Big Meat Energy right here on this Factory Strikeout. Factory, another map that is extremely close quarters. So if you're not able to win those close range gunfights, we might see Rugi go right back on that Scorch yet again if they end up banning the Vi, if the Fixer is banned. A lot of times we see similar bans in King of the Hill and Strikeout, so we'll see if these teams are going to opt to stick with that. Or if Big Meat Energy is going to say, you know what, we got smoked banning the Fixer, so let's go ahead and not ban the Fixer. We'll go ahead and ban something else and play it instead as the Anvil. The Anvil ended up not working out for them. So we'll see how this Factory Strikeout is going to play out, whether teams are going to end up going Dahlia, as Dahlia sometimes can be pulled out in pretty decent fashion simply because those lives are extremely important in Strikeout and reviving your teammates can be extremely, extremely important, especially in those clutch 2v1, 2v2 situations.
Yeah, I like seeing the res rogues come out on Strikeout in particular. I think protecting your lives. Too many people, I think, just give up their life in Strikeout. And I feel like we're going to see it a lot because a lot of teams are probably mostly practicing King of the Hill because that's what's in the majority of the weeks leading into the showdown. Teams that protect their lives are going to have a big advantage here on Strikeout, no matter what map it is, whether it's Factory or other. But we'll head right into Factory, see exactly how these teams have adapted to this mode, which has been in and out for the last couple of weeks and months. But Strikeout, a rare one. We'll see who has been putting that time in. We'll see what rogues end up getting locked in and what could be the last map, potentially for Big Meat Energy in the upper bracket. Will Cordial Corp continue to the performance that they've had so far in this set? Will Big Meat Energy finally find their footing and live up to their name and play aggressively and get positioning on this point?
Yeah, there's only one way to find out, and I'm excited to see what rogues are going to be selected for each side because I'm expecting a very explosive matchup right here. And right now, the Mollies are going to be getting banned out, so only a Dallas is going to be on the map if Nash decides to play that, which we've seen him play in respawns before. You know, Dallas is definitely not a bad pick. But right now, Vi and Scorch, they're straight up saying, look, we're getting that zoning ability of both of those rogues out of the game. We're not going to deal with them. And I'm not mad at the pick, so we're going to see Joker. He's going to be on that Kestrel. Zorzum is going to be on the Fixer. Nash going to be on the Dallas. It looks like we are going to have Rugi on the Dahlia. Yeah, so the revives are going to be coming out, which is very cool to see. You know, we do have double Dallas, the Lancer as well, and Cell. This is going to be a big Lancer game. If Lancer's going to be able to make an impact right here, then they might have a chance because the Lancer is definitely the X factor out of all these rogues that were selected right here.
I would say so. I think specifically for Big Meat Energy, I think the Lancer really has to show up. But I like the comp that Cordial Corp have rolled out with here. I think having the Dahlia, again, it's more towards how I would normally picture Strikeout to go, but the Dahlia has to live to get the advantage there. Already knocked down by Cell. This Lancer X-Factor, just like you mentioned, playing to exactly that. But Zorzum with a crossfire angle knocks down Laz and Cell, even with Joker going down also. Can't get in to touch this. Great timing on those drones, just a little bit too close there from Galaxy as Cordial Corp still holding on here. Zorzum, the Fixer, bringing out. We'll see if it was maybe ban worthy, but not if you roll out in front of all those people. Still, they have the point. They will likely get another tick here before they can come in and contest, and that's another ticket out of their hands that they'll need to now wrest back. And their members, the Halo drones in a tight angle, will not find anybody. Galaxy holding on, beating out Nash with Cordial now stuck back here. People swarming in front of him. Is he waiting for his team to do a flank or just waiting for numbers to take an advantage duel?
Yeah, right now I'm pretty sure he's just waiting for numbers. You know, you don't want to give up your life. Like you said, you know, these top teams, they are pretty smart. You know, these extremely talented teams, you know, they gotta know to play their lives. You know, a lot of times in, you know, a lot of these lower teams, things like that, lower level teams, a lot of times you'll see them treat it like King of the Hill. You know, they'll just think that they can win every gunfight. They'll run out there. They won't hold angles. Wow, a beautiful two-tap coming out. A Joker right there. Picking up this Dallas pistol. Those 50 damage headshots are absolutely lethal if you're able to be accurate with them. And right now, they're just trying to hold the point, waiting for his team, able to win that big engagement. And he's going to be going for the revive. Oh, man, to not finish that one's going to be rough. Molly going to be coming out, though, and that is the danger with going for a revive, is you put yourself at a massive risk.
This does make the retake just a little bit easier, though. That is a Semtex and an Incen that they're not going to have to slow them down or find picks around corners as they go in, already forcing Cell to rotate away. Now they know he's focused on one angle. Can they take advantage of it? No. He's zoned out on the other side, so Joker will not win that fight. Even Zerizim runs in for it. Doesn't get traded, though. Manages to hide behind cover just at the last second. And they can push with these 2 picks that they have to swing this point back in their favor, and not even a contest. No one wants to hold close because they don't have the utility to really get away with it. We'll see how BME can spend it to make their way back in. Already losing a fight, Zerizim does get down, and they're getting burnt by the Incen. Potentially huge value out of this utility as Joker running away, giving this point up one more time, and potentially going down to a push, but Cell gets picked off by Nash on the way in.
Yeah, and right now it's getting down to the wires. It's currently a 1-point game, and there is 20 seconds left, now 15 seconds left on this timer. C4 going to be coming out down in Laz, and that timer is so quick on the goggles now. But there are 0 lives remaining for the side of Big Meat Energy, and that means that you cannot afford any trades. If you trade, that's a loss. You need to get kills and get out. That is the best way to do this. And right there, they are able to get one, but the trade does come out. So now the question is the revive going to be coming through? And it looks like they are going to be trying to revive this player, but he did end up bleeding out, so it is a 3v4.
I don't know if he bled out or if he chose to give up his life. Again, that cough mentality maybe coming into effect there. That's how it looked, at least. But now they know they have effectively 5 players versus these 2. They'll just run in for those halos and immediately win the other gunfight as well. Playing confident near the end works out. That Fixer, I guess I understand the ban that they did last map now, because that's 10 downs for Zerizim. That Deadeye is lethal on backside and on flanks. He's kind of played a little bit of everywhere, constantly keeping Big Meat Energy guessing.
Yeah, Zerizim is really showing out right now on this Fixer with this Deadeye. You know, if you're able to be accurate with it, then you're able to absolutely terrorize teams, especially for those 6 seconds while you have those goggles pop. So it's really cool to keep an eye on this Fixer, as he is the only Fixer in the game. Really, between the Fixer and the Lancers, those are really the 2 main X factors for each team. And right now, the Lancer definitely getting the better of, the Fixer definitely getting better of the Lancer Cell right now in this matchup. Ooh, and is he going to get caught? I believe that he is. And sadly, he's going to be taken out right off the rip by NashX.
I like that play, though. Put 2 people on the flank. You know that that's what the Lancer's going to try to do. They're not going to try to do anything else, so take the advantage you can get here. Although maybe a little too confident on the other side of it. Joker going down to the way and gets the halos off, but doesn't really get anything out of it. They still don't have the objective. They'll be able to potentially flip it now, but Laz is still holding on it. Pressured by Nash, has the smoke for himself. And this Incen maybe forces them away. Laz couldn't really see where he was even going, but they're going to lose one more tick and equalize it here now. Cordial Corp are going to make their move in. Galaxy stuck in a corner, has the halos. Will he go for the tight angle to maybe harass them? I don't think he wants to. He has 100 HP, does it, but misses, hits the cover up front. That's a very important cooldown, effectively, in this mode. Now wasted, and they flip the objective for it.
Yeah, and currently only up 1 right now is the side of Cordial Corp, but just as I say that, they pick up a 2-piece and take out 2 players and extend the lead to 3. And that might be the biggest lead that we've seen so far in this game, is now that lead is extended up to 4. This player is going to be getting stuck, though, but Rugi going to be downing Scythe again. Man, these trades are just coming out right now, and you need more than trades right now, as you're currently up 5 lives. Now make that 6, man, as they have not died in a while. So if you're the side of Big Meat Energy, you've got to make it happen. Make it happen now.
Even when they get incensed and naded away, they have people waiting on the crossfire defensively, holding for that spot, not letting them get away with their pushes, and there's 2 more down immediately, and these 5 seconds are likely to tick away. Cordial, perfect timing, saw that he was peeking the other side, so Joker runs in, finishes off Frosty. Only 1 ticket, 0 tickets remaining. Still one more round after this, unlike Koth, but a very hard comeback to make. 3 versus 14, the numbers that Big Meat Energy will have to swing. And they're just walking into utility. There's already an inset on the window. He couldn't even make it there. They're thinking so far ahead. This Lancer will really have to show up. And this Dallas, but rolling right into the other Dallas, cannot win that one. It's potentially it's an unwinnable situation right now for Cell.
Oh, it's never over until it's over.
Listen.
All right, 1v4, 1v13. You got this, Cell. Let's go. Here's one. Oh, he's not able to get it, though. And that's going to be a 2-0 advantage for this. I had faith, man. I had faith. You know, I had definitely had faith. You know, 2-0, one more round needed. But it's not looking too good for the side of Big Meat Energy right now. But I'm never going to say it's over, man. That was winnable.
Okay, maybe for you. Rome in that game. Rome is winning that 1v13. You heard it here, folks. He's crushing it on that. But even things back out, obviously 2-0. Big advantage to Cordial Corp. They have been playing this mode, I think, just very solidly. Their respawn seems, at least in this game so far, untouchable. The way that they are moving around, playing their numbers, saving each other by bringing that Res Rogue into the picture. I think they were just really ready for strikeout, but not ready for that. Not ready for two nades to be synced up in the same spot. That's Galaxy and Cell finding two for him. How long can Cerism hold on and stop them from the cap? No, probably not as long as he would have liked as he tries to pick something with the shot, but Les just making it up in time, almost. Flipped that one around, but they had to give up more for it. Only now does the objective flip as Nash looking aggressive through this mid flank.
Yeah, and right now they got two Stalker-padded Riptide characters. That nade is almost going to be putting the Dahlia back to the lobby. Scythe going to be popping that stem, making sure that he can live. Right now, Frosty on the Dallas of his own, doing a little bit of creeping. Nash is going to not be able to help out Joker enough. Joker is going to be going down to Scythe, and Nash going to be going down to Frosty in the back.
Okay.
Cell with the pinch as well. And now we're seeing this team start to come online. Big Meat Energy showing a little bit of that energy right now on this first hill.
They're going to get this raise from the Dahlia. Those are protecting those tickets. Still want to get this slip before the next 12 seconds, just so they can deny one more ticket from being bled away for nothing. These therms could be what they need to push in. They're not really doing... They're not doing multiple smokes, but just the one to block the main angle. Deep C4, they do see Galaxy holding on the back, thanks to those thermals, just the aura radiating from them, but they can't save more than one. Zerism almost gets three, but Cell managing to win that duel long range. Still players holding on here. It's Frosty and Cell still holding close, but Cordial walking in with the silence and the speed that he has here, but doesn't know where Frosty is. They still get a trade. He gives up his life for it. Finally, for Cordial Corp, it does swing back against them, and they do hold this point strong. They flip this spawn-wise, but they're getting spawned from behind. They don't have the more powerful side anymore. That goes for BME, and it's probably why they've been looking so good on this site.
Yeah, 100%. Right now, they're looking very good. They're able to work these flanks, work these pinches, use their padded steps to their advantage. You know, when you have, ooh, excuse me, that was disgusting by Cell. When you're upgrading that new SMG, if you're able to upgrade it a couple times, you know, you're able to get that hip fire accuracy while jumping now, which is a pretty cool upgrade that we are seeing. And right there, starting to pay off a little bit right now, as they've already knocked them down to only 3 lives remaining. And right here, we're starting to see Big Meat Energy with a little bit of life.
Not right now, as they've all given up their lives. It's left their body. Thermals popped from them as they managed to find another pick, but they have to get through so much utility that's going to come in here as they flip this objective. There is just so many things they're going to get every time they respawn, but if they keep finding shots like that on anybody who tries to peek, they could maybe maintain an advantage. Where's their crossfire player? It's Nash on the back, but a stick lands right onto Rugi. They have to get this res, I think, if they want a chance to hold on, but the numbers just keep ticking and ticking back in favor of Cordial Corp. Big Meat Energy only down to 1 life left, and they will even protect their Dahlia here with the halos going wide. I talked about all this utility needing to not connect, but finally it's just too much. The Semtex knocks down 2, and it's only Nash still standing in. They're aware of that. They will push, they will get their advantage, and they'll get their first round on a respawn in a little bit.
Yeah, and that's a big confidence booster right there. You know, even though it's 1 round, you were down 2-0, still winning that one where you felt like you won it pretty handily. You know, I won't say that they struggled to win that round or that it was extremely close. You know, they were ahead the entire time. They worked off their advantage, and they were able to capitalize on it. And you love to see that coming out of the squad of Big Meat Energy, they just got to keep it up for 2 more times. Strikeout is so tedious, man. It's just that 1 point. You got to go for it and fight for your life at it the entire time. And right now, these teams are about to go to absolute war because they do not want to let them tie this thing up 2-2. And they're not trying to get down to that loser's bracket because they are 1 round away from being in the loser's bracket.
But they performed the best when their lives are on the line. So maybe that's something that can continue. You can already see that first down onto Nash. There's the instant for it, but Laz maybe holding a little bit too comfortably on that site. Halos will find him. Zerism is going on a long flank, and I think he might be wasting a little bit too much time with Galaxy down. I don't think know necessarily where he is. Walks right into Frosty reloading. Spends a C4 thinking he's going to get pushed, but they didn't know as well as you did. But the Deadeye at close range. Hit every shot. Goodness. You're going to win everything there. Trying to fight the Kestrel. Loses his aim for a second. Just gives it up. Knows that he's at least equalized things with his flank and given his team an opportunity to flip this point.
Yeah, some of this gun skill that we're seeing today, man, these are already some $10,000 shots coming out, man. That 3-tap on that Lancer was absolutely disgusting coming out of Zorza, man. He's been absolutely beaming today. Him and Joker, they are on one, man. Joker, he woke up this morning, talked to him about 10 in the morning. He said, I got a new controller. It just came in. I'm good to go. This bad boy's ready. I'm about to warm it up right now. And he is frying with it on this Kestrel. Nash doing what he does on the Dallas as well. He is lurking right now, just trying to be that nuisance. Cordial, he is in the war zone though, able to get one, finishing him off with the drones. Nash able to down another, and now they're only down to 4 ticks remaining. Make that 3, make that 2. About to be making that 1 as Joker is going absolutely insane on this Kestrel right now.
Honestly, straight up thought you were going to be able to hold the rhythm all the way down, but that spawn immunity had different plans, I think, than what you had with the way you started that one. But they do flip the site, they push forward, they might win this gunfight, but you have to win those if you want to win a game when you're at this big of a disadvantage. Cordial Corp are winning those kind of gunfights, and it's why they made that last round as close as it was, but there's no tickets left for Big Meat Energy. This has to be some of the best performances they've ever had if they want to win this, but already Galaxy down and out. If they just keep trading, they're not going to have any chance here as they just run into a site that's being held so strong. The Lancer will go down. It's only the Dallas against everyone. Frosty has performed great so far this set, but they know exactly where he is, and they know exactly where to put him in that grave. That will move Cordial Corp forward in the bracket. After a very strong performance across all 3 maps, I think their respawn looked great. Their demolition, they were thinking one step ahead basically the whole time, and they are looking set to continue pushing through this bracket. What a performance by them. I think they had their moments on Big Meat Energy, but we can look through the replays through the whole series, and I feel like you're going to notice it's going to be a little Cordial Corp dominant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were definitely flexing their muscles in this first round. They were definitely ready for today. Every single mode they looked almost flawless on as they were putting in that work. We saw Nash, the glitch did get allowed through, and if Nash is allowed to play that glitch, he's definitely going to be on it. And you had Zorzum, he was playing that talent on the outside, doing what he does. They were able to win that one extremely easily. And right here on this King of the Hill was just an absolute bloodbath, as this first round was about as much of a blowout as you can see in competitive Rogue Company, and they were absolutely farming them, if you will. And it was just amazing to see if you are a fan of Cordial Corp, as they were doing just amazing things every single round in this King of the Hill. And sadly, that final factory strikeout just did not go their way, as Cordial Corp was able to sweep them, finishing off the 3-0 series sweep, man. Beautiful stuff coming out of them. Only 1 round on that strikeout factory for the side of Big Meat Energy. And like you pointed out, it was mainly winning the gunfights. That round of strikeout that they did win, they were winning the gunfights. They were winning the exchanges. They were getting the flanks. And that was the 1 round where Big Meat Energy looked like they had Big Meat Energy. Aside from that and the respawns, it didn't look all that great from them.
Yeah, it was they won the gunfights that one time, but they just could not hold on for the rest of it. So unfortunate for them. They will be knocked to the lower bracket, though. Again, things are not over. they're just going to have to play against potentially some hard opponents, depending on who won their games. But that was that for round number 1. A couple more games were played through that. We can check that later. But we have what I believe to be, I think, the game that everyone should be looking forward to up next. Justice Roco, Forcible Cobra against each other in the quarterfinals. You do not want to miss this, folks. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.